Karen Lucille Hale, widely known as Lucy Hale, entered the world on June 14, 1989, in Memphis, Tennessee. Born to Julie Knight and Preston Hale, Lucy grew up in a family that valued both tradition and creativity. Her early childhood was marked by a mixture of small-town simplicity and the seeds of ambition that would eventually push her into the spotlight. She was given the nickname Lucy from a young age, a name that soon eclipsed her given one, and became the identity under which she would rise to fame. Memphis was a city of contrasts, rooted in music, history, and Southern culture. Growing up in such a place gave Lucy an early exposure to performance and artistry. Her mother, Julie, worked as a nurse, instilling values of compassion and responsibility, while her father was less present in her day-to-day life after her parents divorced. The separation had a significant effect on young Lucy, shaping her emotional sensitivity and creating within her a yearning for connection and expression. She found solace in music, performance, and the arts, and while she was a shy child, her inner world was brimming with creativity. From a very early age, Lucy gravitated toward singing. Her voice carried a natural charm and emotional depth that stood out even in childhood. Recognizing this passion, her family supported her musical interests. She began taking singing lessons, listening to pop and country music, and performing whenever she could. At the same time, Lucy developed an interest in acting and storytelling. Television, film, and music videos fascinated her, not just as entertainment, but as avenues for human expression. Unlike many children her age, Lucy was homeschooled for much of her early education. This allowed her flexibility to pursue her artistic dreams, but it also meant she experienced a sense of isolation from traditional social structures. While other children were attending school dances or games, Lucy was often rehearsing, practicing, or auditioning. This unusual path gave her discipline, but also made her appreciate the sacrifices required to follow a dream. In 2003, Lucy's first big break came in the form of a reality television show. She auditioned for American Juniors, a spin-off of American Idol designed for younger contestants. At just 13 years old, Lucy impressed judges and viewers alike with her vocal ability and stage presence. She became one of the 5 winners selected to form a music group. Although American Juniors only lasted for a single season and the band dissolved after releasing just one album, the experience was invaluable for Lucy. It gave her a taste of the entertainment industry, the lights, the cameras, the attention, and the pressures. While short-lived, it planted the seed of possibility in her mind that she could indeed pursue a life as a performer. After American Juniors, Lucy and her mother made the life-altering decision to move to Los Angeles. This was no small choice, relocating from Memphis to LA Maya. After the curtain closed on Pretty Little Liars in 2017, Lucy Hale stood at a crossroads familiar to many actors who have become inseparably linked to a single iconic role. Aria Montgomery had defined her for 7 years, and fans around the world still viewed her through that lens. Lucy knew she had to carefully choose her next steps if she wanted to avoid being typecast. Rather than rushing into another major project immediately, she took some time to reflect on the direction she wanted her career to go. That period of self-examination was as much about her personal life as her professional future, because for the first time in years, her schedule was not dictated by a single long-running television series. Her first significant move after Pretty Little Liars was to star in Life Sentence, 2018, a CW dramedy in which she played Stella Abbott, a young woman who, after being told her terminal cancer was cured, suddenly had to face the realities of adult life and family dynamics. The role was drastically different from Aria Montgomery, offering Lucy the chance to portray humor, optimism, and emotional depth in a fresh setting. While Life Sentence was praised for its heartwarming premise, it struggled with ratings and was cancelled after 1 season. Lucy admitted she was disappointed, but she saw the project as an important step in demonstrating her range. She had shown audiences and industry professionals alike that she could carry a show in a leading role outside of the teen drama genre. At the same time, Lucy remained connected to film opportunities. She appeared in Truth or Dare, 2018, a Blumhouse horror production that leaned heavily into suspense and supernatural thrills. Though critics gave the film mixed reviews, it performed well at the box office and resonated with younger audiences who appreciated its scary but entertaining vibe. For Lucy, the project was important because it placed her in the horror thriller genre, a space that has historically served as a launchpad for many actors to reach wider audiences. In the following years, she continued to experiment with her career choices. In 2020, she starred in Katie Keene, a spin-off of Riverdale, where she played the titular character, an aspiring fashion designer in New York City. The show had a vibrant, stylish, and upbeat tone, blending drama, romance, and the pursuit of dreams in the big city. Lucy embraced the role, describing Katie as a character who was ambitious, warm-hearted, and resilient. However, despite fan enthusiasm and Lucy's performance, Katie Keene was cancelled after one season due to low viewership. Once again, Lucy found herself facing the unpredictable nature of television success. Instead of being discouraged, she continued to pivot. Around the same time, she starred in Fantasy Island, 2020, a reimagining of the classic television series. Playing a guest who visited the mysterious island, Lucy embraced the chance to work on a film that blended horror, fantasy, and sci. As Lucy Hale moved further into the mid-2020s, she had already accumulated a career that spanned over 2 decades, an achievement that many of her peers in Hollywood could not claim. Having started in reality television, transitioned into small acting roles, achieved international fame through Pretty Little Liars, and diversified into music and film, she had created a body of work that reflected persistence, adaptability, and an unwillingness to be confined to one path. Part of what made her story compelling was the way she embraced each phase of her career, refusing to dwell too long on disappointments and instead moving forward with a focus on growth. In these later years, Lucy became more selective with her projects. Rather than saying yes to every opportunity, she carefully considered the scripts that came her way. She had learned the hard way that not every project would succeed, but she also knew that her reputation was not tied to box office numbers or ratings alone. It was tied to her professionalism, the emotional truth she brought to her performances, and the way she connected with her audience. That audience, by now, was no longer limited to teens or young adults but had grown with her, following her from her days as Aria Montgomery into her more mature roles. Lucy's acting choices became bolder. She took on roles in independent films that allowed her to explore raw, complex characters rather than polished, television-friendly personas. These films, often smaller in budget and distribution, offered her creative satisfaction. In interviews, Lucy explained that as she matured, she felt drawn to projects that had something meaningful to say, whether about relationships, identity, or the human condition. She wanted to challenge herself, even if the projects didn't always bring mainstream recognition. Her career also began to include behind-the-scenes ambitions. Lucy expressed interest in producing and developing projects of her own, particularly stories led by women. She admired actresses and artists who used their influence to shape the stories being told, and she began to see herself not only as a performer but also as a potential storyteller in a larger sense. Hollywood was in the midst of ongoing conversations about representation, diversity, and the importance of giving women stronger voices in film and television, and Lucy wanted to contribute to that shift. Beyond her professional endeavors, Lucy's personal evolution continued to resonate with fans. She became increasingly candid about the importance of mental health and the challenges of navigating life in the spotlight. She shared her struggles with self-doubt, admitting that even after years of success, she sometimes questioned her worth. This honesty struck a chord with her audience, especially those who grew up watching her and were now navigating adulthood themselves. Her vulnerability created a sense of community between her and her fans, as if they were growing together.